Tips and Tricks webinar. I'm really excited that you all decided to sign up for today's tips and tricks session. So what we're going to do here is it's going to be a quick 30 to 40-minute session where we're going to go over some niche practices that we don't usually have time to cover during a general training webinar. If you have any questions that pop up throughout today's session, there is a question feature within GoToWebinar where you can submit any questions throughout the session, and I'll take some time at the end to answer any questions that we have. If you guys have any sound issues or if the screen freezes, please write in and let me know, and we can hopefully get that resolved if it happens. So today's tips and tricks session is going to go over different use cases if you are a for-profit organization or a nonprofit organization. So just to start off, we're going to go over some key features of RelSci, and we will get that going here. So RelSci is a business development and relationship mapping tool that allows your firm to privately upload your existing network of contacts to uncover access points to individuals or corporations and foundations that you'd like to work with that you currently don't have a relationship with. We've created a universe here where we've profiled over 5 million influential individuals. So think named executives, high net worth people, board members, and over 1 million of their affiliated organizations, which span the public, private, nonprofit, and financial sectors. All the information you see in RelSci is sourced by our 300-person research team, and it all comes from publicly verified sources. So think company websites, press releases, public filings. Most importantly, we have this relationship mapping technology that sits on top of the data and allows you and your firm to map your contacts to your targets in a completely private and proprietary way. So before we dive into RelSci, here are some 3 key points to keep in mind. We are not social media. No one will ever receive a friend request or an alert on either end that you added someone as a relationship or that you're suddenly getting news and alerts on that individual or corporation. We do not contain any user-generated content from places like LinkedIn or Facebook. You'll never see any information from someone's LinkedIn page here in RelSci. And we do not give out contact information, and that is intentional. We are not a contact network. Rather, your organization has gone ahead and uploaded their private Rolodexes of contacts, and if you uncover an access point through one of your colleagues, you are willing to go up to that colleague, hey, I see here, that you know so-and-so through XYZ board. Would you be willing to make a warm introduction on my behalf? So first up, we're going to start with is the importance of keeping your relationships fresh. So to upload your contacts here in RelSci, you're going to go to My Relationships, which you'll see here on the right-hand side. And then we're going to click Add More Relationships. It is so important that you keep your contacts fresh and up to date so that way you can get the most value out of the tool. For those of you who are Outlook users, I highly suggest getting set up with the Outlook plugin. The Outlook plugin, the way that works is anytime that you create a new contact in Outlook, it'll automatically get pushed to RelSci. I can give you instructions on how to set that up on your end, but if you use Outlook, that's a great way to keep your contacts fresh without you doing manual uploads. If you use, any of our other features, like maybe you upload your contacts from Salesforce or LinkedIn, always know that there will be step-by-step instructions here within RelSci, so you'll know exactly how to export that file from LinkedIn to RelSci. Another way that I have suggested to other clients to help keep your contacts fresh is maybe create a calendar invite once a quarter. That way, oh, it's time for me to update my RelSci relationships. So then that way, I can make sure that I have all my current contacts up to date and in the tool. So some other features here within relationship management that I don't think sometimes people realize or ever take the time to use. One is this Potentials tab. So after you go ahead and you upload your contacts, you might notice, oh, there are a couple of people who, I thought would have been profiled in the tool that aren't actually here. You can click this Potentials tab here in Relationship Management, and you can scroll through this list. This is going to be a list of individuals where, you uploaded the individual, but let's say maybe, you had them at a different employment. They just switched jobs, and in RelSci they're under that new job. Or maybe, you spelled their last name wrong, or maybe their middle initial is in their RelSci profile and you didn't have that. So we weren't sure if we were making the correct match. Scroll through this Potentials tab. I would take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, scroll through, and you could see here, oh, I have Vincent Bowler at Nord Sumatra, but it looks like, oh, maybe, one of these other individuals might be that person, or if you have the background knowledge, oh, he actually was the former managing director here, that's the correct person. Click add, and now that's another way for you to add some more individuals to your contacts. I would scroll through this list, take a chance, see, are there any individuals that, actually are profiled in RelSci, but for some reason didn't match? Maybe you didn't have updated employment information, or maybe a name was spelled wrong. You can scroll through this tab here and go through and add anyone, who fits that criteria. Now we're going to scroll up to the top. Another tab here that you have in relationship management is this recommended tab. So this recommended tab is going to look at your contacts and see, oh, what organizations do you have a lot of connection points at? There might be some other individuals at those companies that you might know as well. So for example, let's say I've uploaded a lot of individuals from Nautica Enterprises. Oh, do I actually know Harvey and I just didn't include him in my contact file? I could just click add relationship here, and this is another great way to kind of explore, who have I uploaded? Are there other individuals at those organizations that, I actually do have a good relationship with? I just forgot to add them into my contacts. You can go in here. I suggest, maybe taking 10 minutes, go through this tab, see if there's any more individuals that you can add, to your Rolodex here in RelSci so that you can get the most value of this particular tool. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the news and alerts feature here in RelSci. So your news and alerts are going to show up here on your main landing page in RelSci, as well as you'll get a daily digest email first thing in the morning. Additionally as well, if you want to customize that one step further, we're going to go to the drop down where you see my name, and we're going to go to my alert settings. So this is where you customize your news and alerts. Are you getting relationships? Are you getting news and alerts on your relationships, your colleagues' relationships? Maybe you have a board list or a client list or a prospect list in here. You can have news and alerts on saved searches. Additionally as well, you can have news and alerts on industries. I've had particular clients of mine, if they have a lot of clients, or if you're a university and you have a lot of alumni in banking and finance for particular, you might want to stay on top of that industry so you know what kind of regulatory issues might be going on. That way you can stay on top of things. If you have a lot of clients who work in a certain space, this is a great way for you to stay on top of, their industry and know really what's going on with their business. Additionally as well, you can get news and alerts on charitable causes. So, if you have a couple of clients, let's say, who are very much passionate about environmental research and wildlife, you can absolutely set up a news and alert there. Or if you yourself, are really passionate about, higher education, you can absolutely set up news and alerts here so that you are notified of what's going on in this particular industry. There are also other topics here that you can set up news and alerts for, as well as any other individual or corporation of interest that you really want to stay on top of them. You want to see what's going on here. Another great feature with news and alerts is you can customize your news and alerts for your specific workflow. So let's say, here's my client list, and I want to turn on a particular filter here. I'm going to click this filter button right here. So there are a number of topics or industry or causes. So let's say, I am a wealth manager. This is my client list. I want to be notified anytime somebody, sells stock. So I would go to topic, and I would look at, oh, look, I can see has somebody, has their institutional holdings changed? Have they maybe been a part of an insider transaction? If I wanted to know anytime my client was involved in one of these two topics, I can set up a specific alert for that list moving forward so that I know that, I'm only getting news and alerts on what topics are really important to me and my workflow going forward. Another popular topic that I've done with clients is employment and board changes. A lot of people want to know, when does their clients, switch jobs? Does somebody get promoted? Do maybe they join a corporate board? And you can do news and alerts specific on a list here for that particular topic. You can do a charitable cause, you can do an industry, you can do a keyword. You can get very creative here and getting those news and alerts that are really tailored to you and your workflow. If you want to get news and alerts on an individual or a corporation one-off, for example, if I wanted to get news and alerts on Melody Hobson, I would just go into RelSci, type in her profile here on the Smart Search bar, and I would just click this following button here on the top left-hand side. So now moving forward, Melody is in my news and alerts. I'll be notified, anytime she's mentioned in the news. So now that we're on an individual's profile, I'm going to show you guys a really cool section of a profile that you might not have realized is there. So right now we're looking at Melody Hobson. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to where it says Relationship Summary section here, and you'll see a picture of a pie chart. We're going to scroll down a little bit further and go to See All. So Melody hasn't gone into RelSci and uploaded her existing network of contacts. RelSci believes out of the 5 million influential individuals that we have profiled, that she has access to just over 3,500 of them. So this page here is going to show you the full breakdown of those 3,500 plus individuals that we believe Melody has access to. We've created an algorithm where we determine the likelihood of an individual knowing another person. We take into account, this person, where have they worked over the years, how senior were they, the organization, what boards and committees are they a part of, what transactional deals have they done. And then the algorithm is going to take it one step further. So for example, if these two individuals worked at Ariel Investments together, was it currently or was it 10 years ago? How senior were they at the institution? What are the chances they would actually overlap? If it's a board and committee that they're a part of, is it a 10-person nonprofit board or a 100-person corporate board? All of that goes into determining the relationship likelihood of strong, average, or weak. So if I was a nonprofit, I would absolutely do this for a board member. I would go to their RelSci profile, I would click into this relationship summary section and see who does this board member have access to that could be influential for me. If I was a wealth manager or a business development person at, an accounting or a law firm, what I would absolutely do here is I would pull up some of our top clients who have, given us referrals in the past, type in their name, go to this relationship summary section. Are there any top clients here, who are actually connected to some of these individuals that we've been trying to get in touch with? We really wanted to do business with them in the past. We just hadn't found that way for a warm introduction. And you can hover over this strong here and see, oh, it looks like here that Melody could get us a warm introduction to John Rogers. This may be a potential new client for myself. So what I would do is I would scroll through and see where have they overlapped over the years. So it looks like Melody and John have overlapped at Ariel Investment Trust, the Chicago Public Education Fund, Ariel Investments, the Economic Club of Chicago, Princeton University. They've also been a part of a deal together as well. So that could be a great access point. So if Melody was a client of yours or a board member, you could scroll through this section of RelSci and see, oh, who else does this individual have access to? These are some really great potential, prospects for us that we didn't realize this person had access to moving forward. Another great feature here is you can save this as a list in RelSci. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just click this Add To button, go to List, and I'm going to call it, Melody Hobson Relationships, and click Save here. And once that saves, what I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to really utilize that list for leverage searches. So let's say, Melody Hobson, she's a wealthy client of mine. She's given referrals to me in the past. I want to screen that list of relationships that she has and see, does she have any other individuals, who have similar interests to her that could be a potential client for me moving forward? I'm going to click the Power Search button here. So what I'm going to do is, let's say for this situation that I am a wealth manager and I want to see, does Melody have access to other high net worth individuals who could be a potential client for me moving forward? Make sure you're on the People tab here in Power Search. And where it says Basics and appears on, I'm going to type in that list that we just created. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll down to Investments in Public Holdings. I'm really only interested, does Melody have contacts that have at least $5 million in public holdings or more? I'm a wealth manager. I'm looking for other high net worth individuals. Melody's a client of mine. Let's see, are there anyone else that would fit a criteria, of her relationships? So looks like, out of that 3,500 plus relationship list that we found through Melody's RelSci profile, that there are 263 individuals on that list who have at least $5 million in public holdings or more. So you can see here on the left-hand side, there's Warren Buffett, and you can see he's on Melody's relationship list and where his stock lies. Where does he have public holdings? And then you can see your shortest path to get a warm introduction to that particular individual. Or it looks like Bill Gates, who has stock in Microsoft and Grupo Televisa. This could be a potential access point here. We can scroll through this list and see, these are, I'm looking for high net worth individuals, and it looks like maybe Melody could get me a warm introduction to some of them. So for example, Barry Charles Diller, who has stock in Expedia, IAC Interactive, and the Coca-Cola Company. So this is a great way for me to really see who my clients are, where their connections lie, and if they have individuals who could be a potential client for me, down the road. So this would be great if you are a for-profit and kind of seeing, are there client referrals that, there are these individuals I've been trying to work with for a really long time, and, I haven't found that way to get a warm introduction. This is a great way to really engage your current clients and get some new business opportunities out of them. So if I was a nonprofit, for example, let's say, Melody Hobson is a board member of mine, and I am a university. Let's say I'm Princeton, and I want to see, does Melody have any other connection points that have donated to higher ed and universities before? Maybe, she could introduce us to someone who'd be interested in donating to Princeton, on example. So what I'm going to do here is I still have that basics appears on Melody Hobson's relationship list, so I'm screening that list in particular. And then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go to donations, and I'm going to go to charitable cause, and I'm going to type in higher education and universities. And then I'm going to scroll down and click search. So what this is doing is we're screening who out of Melody Hobson's relationship list has donated to higher ed and universities before. So it looks like there's 424 individuals who fit that criteria. You can see here Barry Charles Diller, where he's donated in the University of Southern California, as well as the New School previously. And how I could get a warm introduction to him, it looks like through my colleague John C. Malone. So this could be another potential access point of how you kind of discover, do my board members maybe have access to individuals who have donated to causes, similar here. This could be a really great, tool for you guys to kind of get the most out of your board members and really engage them. So next up, what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if a lot of you have used this capability, is a saved search. So if there's a particular prospecting search that you're going to do all the time, let's say I'm looking for, wealthy individuals in the New York area. So I'm going to do location, New York. I'm looking for people who are, C-suite and senior management, who work in banking and finance, and have, at least $1 million in public holdings. I'm going to scroll down and click search. And what RelSci is doing here is we're looking at, who out of those 5 million plus individuals are located in New York, are C-suite and senior management in banking and finance, and have at least $1 million in public holdings. So one of the capabilities of Power Search that I don't think a lot of people realize is you can save your searches. So if there is a particular search that you're going to do all the time, like let's say on a weekly or a monthly basis, this is a great way for you to kind of save this potential workflow here. So it looks like we have 984 results. Let's say this is a search that I know I'm going to be prospecting all the time. This is something I really need to keep tabs on. I'm going to save it here. So I'm going to click this Save button. We'll call it, New York C-suite banking, high net worth. Click Save. And now you can view all of your saved searches. So all of your saved searches are going to be stored right here up top where it says Open Saved Search. And you can go ahead in here and see, what searches have I run? Is there a particular search that I'm going to run all the time? So for example, next, let's say a month from now, I want to run that New York C-suite banking search again. I'm just going to click that search here, and RelSci is going to run that search for me automatically. So I don't have to go ahead, and upload those fields. It'll automatically filter through, to what I'd like, and, the searches will happen. This is just a great way to make your life a little bit easier here. And you can save as many searches as you need, and then you'll see it pops up again. So another feature of RelSci that I'm not sure a lot of you guys realize is our reporting center. So I'm going to click here to the drop-down where my name is, and I'm going to go to My Reports. So this is going to show you the full history in RelSci of what reports you have created here, whether it was a path report or a power search or anything like that. Let's say, I really want to have my reports emailed directly to my inbox. That works easiest for me. You can see where it says email reports to me. Click this enable button. It's going to light up yellow, and now any future RelSci reports that I'm going to do will be emailed to me in my inbox. So we can look here at some past reports that I've downloaded. Let's say it looks like here I did my firm to Melody Hobson. If that's a report that I'm going to be running a lot, we can go to this actions button here. We could re-download the report. We could update it, refresh it, see if there are any new connection points, or we can edit details and schedule. I'm going to click this edit details and schedule button. So let's say, there's this Pathfinder report, and I know that I'm going to be needing to kind of double check it, once a week to make sure that, are there any new pathways that have come up that my organization needs to know about. I'm going to click this schedule, and I'm going to go to weekly. Let's say, this is going to be in preparation for my Wednesday meeting, my team meeting. So I want to run the report on Tuesday, just to make sure that I have everything. We'll click Save, and now moving forward, that path report is going to get emailed to you every Tuesday, and you can see, have there been any updates? Are there new paths that weren't there the week before? This is a great way to kind of streamline your work process. If there are specific RelSci reports that you're going to need to run or view on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis, you can absolutely set this up here so that the report will get sent to you regardless. This is just another way to help make your workflow a little bit easier. If you ever need to re-download a report, you can absolutely do that here too as well. Another really cool feature is if you are, let's say I'm looking at Verizon and I wanted to see, the full reach of that board. I'm going to go to the Verizon profile page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down, and where it says Board of Directors, I'm going to go to See All. So this is the board page here, and we see, who the board members are and a list of who they are. But let's say, I really want to look at that in a different view. I'm going to go to Board View here and select Graph View. So this is great visually. So now we see Verizon and who the board members are. You can hover over that circle here and see, oh, look, it's Gregory Wasson. He's an independent director. He's also on the audit committee and the HR committee here at Verizon. But we can scroll through and see if you want to view the profile of that board member, you can absolutely click here if you wanted to kind of get smart on who these board members are, where their interests lie. Another thing that's really awesome is, let's say, oh, look, here is, Rodney Slater. I want to see, what else is he involved with? I'll click that circle. It's going to pop up, and now we see that Rodney Slater, who's on the board of Verizon, but what else is he involved in? Oh, it looks like he's a non-executive director at Transurban Holdings. And oh, it looks like he's also on the audit committee of United Way Worldwide. If I wanted to view the profile of that particular organization, I could absolutely do that here. So you can kind of scroll through and see, what board is this individual on? What other boards are they a part of? Could they be maybe a potential new board member, for myself or maybe one of my clients who's looking, for someone to fill a particular spot? And you can kind of scroll through here and get a full reach of, who these board members are and what else they're involved in. You can click, as many circles as you need to, and you can see, oh, look, here's Clarence Otis Jr. He's also on the board of the Boys and Girls of America, and he's also with the Orlando Economic Development Commission as a director there. So you can really go through, this chart. You can really play around with it. If you wanted to say, oh, I'm really looking for, these big corporate boards, who are these individuals that are on these corporate boards? What roles do they play? What other boards are they on? This is a great way for you to kind of explore, that particular reach here in RelSci. So that's going to conclude today's tips and tricks. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take a minute or two and we're going to do some Q&A that's come up throughout our session. So just give me a quick minute while I read through the questions and I will answer them momentarily. All right, everyone. Now I'm going to get to today's Q&A session. So our first question is, what if someone in my contacts is not in RelSci? Will they appear in that relationship management area? So if you see a key contact who's maybe not in, that's not showing up for RelSci, click this RelSci services button here. We're going to go to profile requests and data errors, and this is where you would select create new profile. Give our research team, as much information about that particular individual. So, his name is George Smith. He works at Goldman Sachs, but he's the general counsel there, but he's also, on the board of the American Cancer Society. Click submit. Our research team will go out, they'll scour the public domain, and they'll shoot you a note in 2 to 3 business days with the updated link for that profile. So another question we have here is, what are RelSci's news sources? So we subscribe to a lot of third-party data vendors like LexisNexis, FactSet, but we also subscribe to, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. So we have a lot of data vendors here, where we get our news and alerts from. And the data will be updated, really consistently. We have bots, that sit on company websites, and, they monitor the executive page. So if the CEO leaves an organization, once that's reflected on the company website, it will be pushed to RelSci. All right. So it looks like our other question, in the graph board view, can you remove some of the circles? So that depends on the scope of your search. If you're just looking at a board member and you want to expand more into it, you can kind of add, but you can't remove somebody from a particular chart there. So I wanted to thank you all so much for attending today's RelSci tips and tricks. I hope you guys got a really great, ooh, it looks like we have one last question. There is not a limit on the number of profiles you can request. That is included in your RelSci subscription cost. All right. So I wanted to thank you all so much for attending today's RelSci tips and tricks. I hope you learned a few new things about the platform. If you have any other questions or if you want to set up a strategy session, please contact your account manager. We are happy to help you guys in any way that we can. And we really look forward to helping you guys get the most out of RelSci, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great one.